prayers is that the Republicans will take back their party.
Things keep dripping out, drip, 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 and the truth comes out.
People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress. The president can't do it. So that's not even a discussion. Not everybody realizes that, but the president can only postpone, delay, but not forgive.
No. That's just not true. See, there's something called the Compromise and Settlement Provision in the Higher Education Act. And this has been around for a long time. I admit that it's obscure, but this was the type of provision that was utilized under the Obama administration to make some pretty important student loan decisions, right? So for instance, instead of having students rely on private lenders that charge higher interest rates for student loans, the federal government decided to get much more involved in being the ones who actually give out the loans at a much lower interest rate, making the borrowing a lot less expensive.
What is your response to Speaker Pelosi, who said earlier today that you don't know what you're talking about the coronavirus? I'm also wondering if you'd want to address critics who say you can't be trusted about what your administration is saying.
Sure. I think Speaker Pelosi's incompetent. She lost the Congress once. I think she's going to lose it again. She lifted my poll numbers up 10 points. I never thought that I would see that so quickly and so easily. I'm leading everybody. We're doing great. I don't want to do it that way. It's almost unfair if you think about it. But I think she's incompetent, and I think she's not thinking about the country.
There are Americans who are being evicted from their homes. They can't pay the rent. Many Americans are waiting in food lines for the first time in their lives. Can you look them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer?
Well, because, thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people. Say to them, thank you. God bless you for your grace and your dignity, for the model that you are, for appealing for justice in the most dignified way. But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs? Why don't they accept ours? What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist. And many of your colleagues, apologists for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February.
We want the CDC and the White House to go ahead and work together. We want Biden to pen, an eviction moratorium, getting that executive order done. But we're not just leaving it on the White House. We're asking for Congress, we're asking House leadership to reconvene us, bring us back because this is our job. We can't go on recess. We can't go on vacation when millions of people's lives are at risk.
That was Democratic Congresswoman Cori Bush. She is now about to enter her fourth night tonight of sleeping on the steps of the U.S. Capitol to protest the end of a federal ban on evictions. Bush, who herself was once homeless, says she wants the Biden administration, you heard her there, and Congress to act immediately to extend the eviction moratorium. It ended last Saturday. It was put in place by the CDC last September to protect millions of tenants who are facing financial challenges because of the pandemic.
I want this very much now because people need help now. But it's no use giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local, we're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, that the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you know,
and that is the coronavirus.
We know
that is
we
the
know
coronavirus.
the problem out there, but there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion. The president just tweeted, stimulus, go big or go home. He wants even more right now. So why not work out a deal with him, and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good.
An effort to extend the moratorium failed in Congress last week. And now with COVID cases once again surging across the country, the lives of millions hang in the balance. According to the Census Bureau, nearly 11 million people.
It's not about me, it's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent,
and
who
we
are having
represent
trouble,
them, and
who
we
are
represent them,
getting
and
by
we represent
these
them,
long food
and we
lines that we're
represent
seeing.
them.
I know
we
you
know
are.
them.
I'm just saying.
We represent them, and we know them. They are in search of justice then, and now they see this giant step. But as our colleagues have said, it's not over. They complimented the Congressional Black Caucus for its role that it has played in all of this. They're eager to see Karen Bass's George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed and signed by the president into law. All of them. Well, Philonise has become a star. Rodney and Terrence, the brothers, Bridget is their sister. We all know Ketta, who's a force of nature within the family.
Do you hear that that cry, that faint cry in Cori Bush's throat? We can't go on vacation. Not while the people are starving.
Work together.
Not while
we want Biden to pin, an eviction moratorium.
You hear that cry in her?
And getting that executive order done. But
deep
we're
down
not
in her side of her.
Just leaving it on the White House. We're asking
the cry of a human
we're
being.
asking House leadership to reconvene us, bring us back.
It's the cry of a
bring us back because it's our
compassionate,
job.
empathetic leftist.
Millions of people's lives are at risk.
It's the cry of a hand down, of a progressive warrior, someone who really does want to make change for her countrymen, for her district, for her voters. She's due. She's wet behind the ears. She's very, very new to this whole game. The game where nothing fundamentally changes. The game where we screw our voters. We screw our district. We gerrymander our district. We suck the life and soul and money out of the people who represented us. And we don't give them change. Nothing ever fundamentally changes. The only thing that changes is the xenophobic fear of the tagline that reverberates throughout the partisan political puppeteering. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's the way it's supposed to be. Cori Bush, stay out of it.